Hey there, it's Ruth Sherman, CEO and celebrity speech and media coach, but you don't have to be famous to work with me. Last month, for the easing, for the newsletter, I did an analysis of Oprah's speech at the Golden Globes. And this month, President Trump delivered his State of the Union, his first State of the Union speech. So I thought I would review that. We're in an embarrassment of riches when it comes to speaking, both political and otherwise. So it's a good time for me. But I do these things so that we can learn from it. So let me tell you my thinking on President Trump's speech. I'm going to blurt it right out here, and that is this. It was one of the worst delivered speeches I have ever heard, all right, I've ever seen. And I've seen a lot of bad speeches. It was definitely up there. Now, I don't say that it's the worst written speech. I didn't say it was the worst speech. I didn't say that. I said it was the worst delivered. Honestly, I haven't had time to go back and look at the transcript, which is over 5,000 words. That's a long speech. And analyze it as thoroughly as I would like to. But from a delivery standpoint, I thought it was very, very unfortunate. In fact, the next morning, it ended late. I went to sleep. The next morning at about 6:40 in the morning, I had to be on the radio talking about it. And I told the host exactly the same thing. And he pushed back. He said, well, did you see the same speech that other viewers saw? Because the CBS poll came out and said that 75% of the respondents liked it. And I hadn't seen the poll, and I generally don't look at reviews before I have to comment on them because I don't like to be influenced. I don't like to be swayed. But I did go back and look at that poll later on that day, and it turns out that a good percentage of the respondents were supporters of the president. So naturally, they are going to support him and like his speech. Few of them, I'm sure, were experts the way I am, but I stand my ground on my assessment, and I'm going to tell you why. The first problem with the speech is that he was promising to make it a speech from the heart and that it would be a unifying speech. And there was a lot of talk about it being from the heart. This one's going to be from the heart. And my feeling was he really didn't deliver in that way. He really, if you're going to say you're going to speak from the heart, then you have to be able to find your heart. And I don't think he has an easy time with that. I really don't think he even knows what his heart is. But there are also, that's intangible. There are also tangible reasons. And I'm going to refer to my notes, because I always do, and tell you what they are. And we can all learn from watching this. Okay, the first thing, the big thing that he failed about is that he didn't practice. Now, he uses lack of practice as a badge of honor. It's just weird. It's really ridiculous, and it's just unfortunate. It's a disservice to his audience, quite frankly. It is something that the best speakers really get right, and that's why there are so few of them. There. The second thing is that he didn't sound as if he had even read it through from beginning to end. And the dead giveaway for that was that he mispronounced words that he probably knows. One that's, really leaped out at me was his pronunciation of the word scourge, S-C-O-U-R-G-E. And he pronounced it scourge. To me, that means he didn't see it coming. It probably came up, scrolled up at the bottom of the teleprompter, and the prompter wasn't keeping up with him, or he was speaking faster than the prompter, or whatever. I don't know. But he's pronounced it scourge, S-K-O-R-G-E. So that's, that's also a result of not practicing. All roads lead back to the first problem. Number 3, the body language was all wrong. I mean, in addition to his gesticulating and his, doing this and his general 3 or 4 habitual gestures, his facial expression was angry. It was scowling. It was scolding even. And, his applauding of his own words. It's like, nobody does that. You don't applaud yourself, okay? So that was very off-putting, I thought. The incitement to chant USA, USA Now, maybe his audience just did that on their own, his GOP audience, but very unseemly for such a dignified setting. This is not a campaign rally. Number four, his rate and pacing were horrible. They were too slow. They were so plodding. I thought it would never end. We speak at a rate of about 140 minutes, 140 words per minute. So I did the math, looked at the transcript, counted the words, and divided by 140. It came up as about 65 words per minute. Crazy slow. And if you go back and you look at a recording, you'll see what I mean. And that is even taking into consideration the incredibly frequent applauding by the audience, which is common in these kinds of things. So that's probably one of the biggest failures, along with practicing the slow rate. Again, we speak at about 140 words per minute, sometimes a little slower, sometimes a little faster. It's variable. It's variable. His voice is not a great voice. Sorry, it's not. It's breathy, it's thin. But here's the thing: you don't have to have a voice like James Earl Jones to be successful as a speaker. George W. Bush, he wasn't a terrific speaker, but he was good enough. His voice isn't particularly resonant and rich. Bill Clinton has a very raspy voice, but he's known as a good speaker, regardless of what you may think of him lately. Again, it just has to be good enough. There are always ways to strengthen the speaking voice, and since the President of the United States has to use it a lot to give speeches, he should really work on it. He probably won't, but he should. He has a habit of biting off choice word. One that leapt out at me was the word grit. So what I'm doing, like jutting my chin out and cutting off that word with the t and just baring my teeth is exactly what he does. And he seems to do it at a time when he is either feeling like he's not getting credit where credit is due, or he's trying to cast blame on someone who is not supporting his policies in the way that he thinks they should be supporting him. Again, just a habit. It's just a weird habit, and it's graceless, and it's really, again, out of place in such a decorous setting. The structure of the speech, again, haven't gone over it in detail, and I'd like to do that if I can, if I have time. I just haven't had time in the last 2 days since between that and recording this video. It did not have enough rhetorical flourishes. These are the things that make a speech sound poetic. It makes a speech soar. It makes audiences want to listen, to lean in, and to learn more. It makes them want to jump up and cheer for you. Not that the president would have known how to land it if there were enough rhetorical flourishes. There were a couple, but again, he just didn't land them well. And unfortunately, he missed out on an opportunity as a result. Audible inhales. What is with this breathing of his? I mean, breathing is, you've got to breathe to speak, but it shouldn't be this, sniff. He's got to work on that. It's a distracting habit. So as I alluded at the outset, the written speech may be much better than the way he delivered it. And I still, again, haven't had a minute to read it all the way through. Yet for all the claims from him and the White House that it was going to be a speech from the heart and it was going to be unifying, it seemed clear to me that the only unity he was interested in was with the GOP. And as far as for his heart, I actually don't think he knows where it is. If you want to learn more about how to speak from the heart, hop on over to ruthsherman.com and subscribe, and you'll get a bunch of free stuff, including some training videos. And subscribe here as well, okay? All right, see you soon. Bye-bye.